In a place where plot lines seldom matter, the A's wrote a pretty good script on Friday night. Cast a good starting pitcher and lots of offense. The sequel aired last night, and though it looked and sounded a lot like the original, it still drew rave reviews from the critics. Today, the curtain comes down in the first half of the season, and the A's hope to prevent a repeat performance of Chuck Finley's last start against them. On a typically sparkling Southern California afternoon, the Oakland Athletics play the final game before 3 days off for the All-Star break against the first-place Anaheim Angels, and they are closing on the Angels. The Angels having lost 6 of their last 8, while the A's are playing great baseball. They've won 3 in a row and 4 of their last 5. Hello again, everybody. Welcome to the afternoon of Oakland A's baseball on Fox Sports Bay Area alongside Ray Fosse. I'm Greg Papa. Today the A's go for the sweep of this series, Ray, and quite a week for the A's. It started, of course, by taking 2 out of 3 from the first-place Padres over in the National League West. You know, taking on first-place teams, especially the Padres, a very good team, probably will win the National League Western Division. Coming down here and taking on the Angels. Greg, what I thought was the intensity level was very high last night. Ricky Henderson scoring from first base on a single by Ben Grieve. Terry Collins, who just loves the intensity for his club, I think was a little shocked to see Ricky Henderson do it. I think the Athletics outplayed the Angels the first 2 games. They would like to get this final game to go into the All-Star break. And keep in mind, coming into the series, the A's had lost 14 of their previous 15 against this team. It's going to be important to find a way to beat the Angels. These 2 teams have a great young nucleus. The Oakland A's, of course, led by 22-year-old Ben Grieve, who will be a first-time All-Star. He was the number 2 pick in '94. He'll do another first-time All-Star, the number 1 pick in '95. 24-year-old Darren Erskine.
A's Baseball on Fox Sports Bay Area is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. With fares so low, you have the freedom to go places. By Discover Card, it pays to discover. By Hoover, nobody gets the dirt like Hoover. Nobody. By Northern California Ford. Now, score big savings at your local Ford dealer on America's best-built and best-selling cars and trucks. And by TCI.
Well, the A's have made the trip up the coast to take, or actually down the coast. They'll make it up the coast after the game. Here's their lineup today, brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Ricky Henderson will lead it off in left field. Rafael Bornegal will bat number 2. The red-hot Ben Grieve getting ready for the All-Star game third. Kevin Mitchell in against the lefty Chuck Finley. Jason Giambi on a real home run binge since that monster in Seattle. Mike Flowers will hit 6th. Miguel Tejada at shortstop. Mike McFarland catching. He's not hit well since the back injury. And Ryan Christensen will go last against the blonde lefty Chuck Finley.
The veteran left-hander Chuck Finley. Take a look at the scouting report. Fastball, slider, forkball, which is his main pitch, curves and changeups. Very good ERA at Edison Field. The career record against the Athletics, not so good, but he has pitched well of late. And May against the A's, 8 innings, 1 run.
Darren Erstad's in left, Jim Edmonds in center, Garrett Anderson right. Craig Shipley will give the start off to Dave Hollins, who normally takes day games off. He has the diabetes problem. Gary DiSarcina at short. Paco Martin at second for Justin Bachman. Cecil's over at first, and Matt Wallback will be catching. A couple of longtime rivals and briefly teammates. Ricky against Chuck Finley. Matt Wallback on the game's first pitch has the game's first out in foul territory.
Well, Ricky knew he was probably going to get the fastball, which he got from Chuck Finley, and he was not going to let it pass. Just happened to get under it.
Gorgeous day in Southern California, a little warmer than the first 2 days the A's were here. Drew Coble behind the plate, the veteran, with Ted Barrett at first, Ted Hendry at second base, and Larry Young over at third base. Rafael Bornegal making the start at second base today. As Bip Roberts still has a little bit of that hamstring problem, Ray. And keep in mind, Bip Roberts did not play at second base at all with the Detroit Tigers. He was used exclusively as a DH. And largely because of the fact he was on the DL twice with that hamstring injury. So by giving him the day off today, he gets the next 3 days off for the All-Star break. He'll be able to come back and begin the second half on Thursday. Bornegal got jammed. Finley saying, "I have it," and he does. Almost bumping into Cecil, but he gets his man. Chuck Finley is not going to the All-Star game, but certainly All-Star caliber numbers. ERA at 3.05 is the 5th best in the American League. Finley off to a great start this year, was 4-0 with a 154 in April. In May, he went 1-2 with a 3.26 And in June, he was 3-2 with a 4.66. This is his first start in July, and he throws ball 1 to Ben Grieve. Ben with 3 more RBIs last night. And you mentioned the last 2, Ray. Ricky Henderson coming around and scoring from first base. A.J. Hinch could not believe it. He thought Ricky may have passed him on the bases.
Ben Grieve gets just to 100, exactly 100 runs batted in. He can thank Ricky Henderson, because that was definitely all Ricky last night. Someone asked me, said, "Oh, he ran right through the stop sign." I said, "No, just watch him from second to third. He was running hard, and Ron Washington was able to send him all the way because he was running hard to third."
Count is 2 balls and 1 strike to Grieve, and Grieve fouls it off to go 2-2.
Plus, you know, that's a tough play for the infielder. Justin Bachman was the infielder taking the throw from Edmonds. He had his back to the infield. Nobody was there to tell him that Ricky was trying to score, and that surprise was what enabled Ricky to score the way he did.
And there was a throw to the plate and Wallback, but really there was no play. Ricky beat it easily. Count goes full. Chuck Finley, in his last appearance, beat Sean Estes and the Giants last Tuesday night here. The Angels are struggling, though. It's the only game they got against the Giants. They've lost the first 2 on this series. And before that, they lost 2 out of 3 in San Diego. Erstad will come over, but that'll be several rows deep. That's the only way this young man knows how to play, is hard. He was not going to take it for granted. That ball was fouled.
Well, you could say he has that football mentality, but he was a punter. Unless those linemen got through to block the punt, he didn't have to fight too many of those big guys.
3-2 pitch to Grieve. Ben Grieve able to get a walk out of Chuck Finley to keep it alive. That'll bring up Kevin Mitchell. Chuck Finley going back to the blonde look after dyeing it in the spring. Last time we saw him, he was growing it out, and it was darkening up again, but he has gone back in for another touch-up.
Well, that must be the thing now, because SportsCenter did a special on it, so it's making the big news around baseball.
Mitchell hits one to DeSarcina. Over to Paco Martin. Little offline, but Paco has it, and Ben Grieve is forced out. The A's get a 2-out walk from Ben Grieve, but that's it. They don't score at the top. We'll come back, and Jimmy Haynes will go to work against Darren Erstad. Angels still have first place by 2.5 games, but they have lost 6 of their last 8. Darren Erstad, their first-time All-Star, will lead it off, followed by Craig Shipley playing at third today. Jim Edmonds will bat number 3. Tim Salmon is the cleanup hitter. Cecil Fielder, another slump, will be batting number 5. Garrett Anderson, a modest hitting streak. He had 4 hits here on Friday night. Matt Wallback will bat number 7. Paco Martin at second base, and DeSarcina will go number 9 against Jimmy Haynes.
Jimmy Haynes, a couple of starts against the Angels, but at 96, as remember the Orioles. Scatter report on Jimmy Haynes. Fastball, curve, changeup, 3 excellent pitches. He has to mix the pitches, get stronger. And boy, what an outstanding month of June for the right-hander.
In June, he went 3-1 with a 2.84. His last outing came against the San Diego Padres in the first game of the series on Tuesday. Jimmy was not around for the decision, went 6 1/3, gave up 5 runs. Darren Erstad, pretty gaudy numbers. Out of the leadoff hole, he leads them in RBIs. He also leads in home runs. Leads in stolen bases. Halfway through this year, Ray, when you look at possible candidates for American League Most Valuable Player, now, Juan Gonzalez certainly, I think, had a lock on that for the first couple of months, but he has struggled. He's not driving in the runs that he drove in earlier, and his team is playing poorly. The Rangers in late May had a 6-game lead on Erstad's Angels, and now they're down 2.5. There's the Yankees. You could pick one of those guys out of the bunch. Paul O'Neill, I guess, would be the top guy. But Darren Erstad, the point is, he's going to be probably in the top 3 for American League MVP. Ricky, who won that award in 1990s in left. Ryan Christensen in center. Ben Grieve out in right. Infield. Flowers, Tejada, Bornegal at second base. Jason Giambi and McFarland behind the plate. This one's fouled off.
Now, Greg, I think unfortunately when they start voting for the MVP, they don't take into consideration what a guy like Darren Erstad means to a club like the Angels. He'll put up numbers, but I think they look at home runs or RBIs. Juan Gonzalez, King Griffey Jr. You know, there are other players that can put up those gaudy numbers and the power where everybody pays a lot of attention. But this guy is the type of guy you'd like to have 25. You'd be no problem winning and keeping that intensity level.
That was a quick at-bat for Craig Shipley. Jimmy Haynes strikes him out on 3 pitches.
Jimmy would like to finish the first half on a strong note, and he's starting off very well on the first 2 hitters. That high fastball, one of the toughest pitches for any hitter to catch up to.
We gave you the numbers on Jimmy in June. He's gotten progressively better month to month. His April ERA was 5.5. In May, it was almost 4. And as we mentioned, in June, 2.84. Off the end of the bat by Jim Edmonds, drifting over nicely as Ryan Christensen. And it's a quick 1-2-3 as Jimmy Haynes throws only 8 pitches to get Erstad, Shipley, and Edmonds. At the end of 1, we are scoreless. To the red-hot Jason Giambi. Boy, you go back to that monster home run Ray he hit at the Kingdome a couple of weekends ago into the 3rd deck there. Ever since that game, he had a 3-hit game that afternoon. Jason is probably the hottest hitter on this team.
Boy, he smoked one last night, 447 feet, as many of the players were talking about it in the miniature golf area in center field here at the Edison International. Mike Blyer said he hit it through the windmill. He hit it so hard up in that area. There is that artificial surface in center field that I think everybody wishes they would plant real grass and make it look like a real stadium, but that's probably the only negative about this place. Everything is so beautiful, but for some reason they want that light green artificial stuff.
And they have gotten a lot of the comments that Ray is giving you right here. I think if they take that into consideration, the Disney people normally do listen to the public and the players. You may see that sodded in the offseason. 3-1 pitch to Giambi is fouled into the top deck. And we go full now. Jason, number 5 hitter today, with Matt Stairs, Ray, for a 2nd consecutive game out of the lineup.
Tightness in the, actually it starts at the calf down to his Achilles. And Art Howe, again, as you mentioned about Pip Roberts, just the 3 days off after last night not able to play, and today. I would think, and I actually didn't talk to Art, but I would think if he needs him to pinch hit, that he'd be able to. Running is going to be difficult, and he does not want to push it. But I think with the time off, he's going to be all right starting Thursday.
Here's the 3-2 from Finley. Good pitching again, got him tight. He also got in very tight on Bornegal. Gary DiSarcina makes the easy play on Giambi, 1 away.
Yeah, I think this game is almost like the final day of the season, depending where the teams are playing. But this is a game with the All-Star break coming up, guys, thinking about the 3 days off. But I don't think either club is out here thinking, let's get it over with so we can start the break. The A's would like to win their 4th in a row, take this series sweep. The Angels, on the other hand, would like to win to not think about losing too many more games, especially in the standings. And I don't think Terry Collins would even consider that. Here's a guy who said he doesn't even want to have the break. He wants to keep coming out to the park every day.
He says, what else am I going to do? I don't fish. I stink at golf. I don't play tennis. He just wants to come out and manage baseball every day. And, of course, he was forced away from the game for an 8-game period to serve that suspension after the ugly brawl on June the 2nd in Kansas City.
You know what was great to hear him say? That he was happy that the club played as well as they did. It would have really hurt him and killed him had the club not been successful.
Mike Flowers has Jim Edmonds racing back to right center. He's going to run out of room. That ball gone for a home run. And that is the Flowers' sweet spot out to right center field. His 6th home run as an Oakland A. And Chuck Finley falls behind 1-0.
But it's been a while. But he finally got into that area where he hits so well. And I go back to Colorado last weekend. I thought he would get into that jet stream at Coors Field and hit a couple. But he does it here on a beautiful afternoon where the ball carries extremely well. And I know the players are saying to him, see, if you don't hit it to straightaway center where he did last night and caught at the warning track, try to go to the gaps. You have a better chance. But great swing by Mike Flowers.
Home run number 10 allowed by Finley. He gets a strike over to Miguel Tejada.
Well, Mike was at the clubhouse and talking about needing this game. He said the A's have to win this game. They want to win it. and just turn it up another notch or two today.
Well, with the first 2 victories on this series, the A's were victorious 10-6 on Friday night, scoring 5 times in the very first inning off of Omar Olivares. Came back last night to win 8-3. A superb outing by Mike Oakland, one of the finest we've seen from him this year, and an important one after he had struggled in his previous 3, Ray. The A's are within 5 games of 500. They've not been within 4 since mid-May. That strike 3 call. Nice pitching by Finley, doing a good job of getting inside, especially to the right-handers. Here's Mike Flowers, who took one on the outside part, Ray, and drove it.
I tried to go inside. You can see Wahlbeck set up on the inside corner, and that ball stayed middle of the plate and down. And Flowers, to be honest, a little surprising to see the location of that fastball where it was supposed to be thrown. Most pitchers have been going away from Flowers because of the outside part of the plate and threading that corner for strikes.
Mike McFarland in the lineup this afternoon. A.J. Hinch was behind the plate for the first 2 games on this series.
I don't know if that ball, I know it hit Matt Wahlbeck, took his mask off, but I also wonder about Drew Coble if he got hit. Maybe not as bad as John Hirschbeck in Boston yesterday. Knocked him back with a foul ball.
There's been some odd occurrences with home plate umpires. You see over in the National League where Jerry Davis had the ball to actually go right into his shirt pocket, and that allowed a run to score from third base. They couldn't find the ball, and the ruling on that is if the ball gets caught, gets lodged in the umpire's equipment, it's 1 base.
Yeah. But there was a runner at third anyway, so he was going to score on the plate. Yeah.
But you would think that the catcher that had gone to the shirt pocket would have been able to make the play. Obviously, he wasn't too far away.
Take the ball in the pocket and slam him on the ground and tag out the runner. Huh?
Tag the ump. Got his 2-2 on McFarland. Matt Wahlbeck just glad to see Finley on the mound and not the knuckleballer Steve Sparks. He had a tough time last night.
Well, Sparks had a good knuckleball working.
Well, Candiotti was saying as McFarland shoots one up at our level, Candy was saying that he was going to talk to Sparks. He thinks Sparks throws that knuckleball a little too hard, needs to change speeds on it more. And A.J. Hinch was saying to him, well, don't tell him, he's the opponent. He said, no, there's a greater fraternity when you deal with knuckleball pitchers. We have to protect each other. Just missed there. Again, Finley, Ray, making a real point of crowding the right-handed batters effectively. Did not get that call from Coble, and the count goes full. McFarland rips one to center field.
Well, there's not a fastball that can be thrown by Mike McFarland, especially in the middle of the plate, and he knew Finley was going to do that after missing on the 2-2 pitch. Fastball right in the middle, about waist high, and Mac with that quick swing, top hand, smoked it into center.
So the top of the second continues for Ryan Christensen. Ryan had a couple of hits in last night's victory. Ryan Christensen is an offensive performer, Ray. You can just see him settling in. There was no doubt defensively he belonged here from the very first moment he stepped on the field. But offensively, he's gotten a lot better since he was recalled the first time, went back down to the minors, then came back up after J-Mac's collision with Ricky. Fouled that one off, and the count is 1 ball and 1 strike. And the timetable for Jason McDonald has been pushed back a little bit. You probably, at the very earliest now, won't see him until early August. He just had the cast removed from the wrist, and they put a splint on the other day, but he still has a lot of work to do with that wrist.
But Denny Walling is very impressed in the way Ryan Christensen picks up on tips from Denny very quickly. Last night facing Sparks, Denny said, why did you swing at that first pitch knuckleball? He said, he's going to give you something other than to the knuckleball. He ended up striking out that at bat. The next at bat against Sparks, threw him a first pitch slider, hit a double down the left field line. He said, look for something other than knuckleball. He's going to eventually throw that, but he's also going to throw his other pitches. Right. Look for those pitches and not the knuckleball.
Chuck Finley squinting in to get the signals from Wahlbeck on a very sunny day here
that because of the blonde hair?
Maybe. Is that
Causing
it?
Yeah. Come out like Clemens did in the playoffs several years ago with the eye black under his eyes. War paint.
Like a lot of the great ones, it takes Finley a while to settle in, but once he gets locked in, he gets very difficult to hit. Blows away Christensen with a strikeout. He strikes out 2 in the inning, but Mike Flowers takes him out, his 6th home run as an Oakland A's. We'll go to the bottom of number 2, 1-0 A's. Come back to center court here at the All England Club. Where are we? Here's the baseball game. Strawberries and cream. We'll tell you about Pete Sampras, a 5-time Wimbledon champion. All of the sports news coming up at 10 o'clock and every night here on Fox Sports Bay Area when we bring you Fox Sports News Primetime. Tim Salmon will lead off the Angel second. 15 bombs considering he was away for about 3.5 weeks with that left foot injury. Once again, though, omitted from the American League All-Star team, Darren Erstad and Troy Percival, the only 2 Angel All-Stars. Miguel Tejada, tough play here, and he makes it nicely to get Salmon, who's not running real well, and that's something Ron Washington's been trying to drill into his head, Ray. Be aware of who the batter is and the guys on bases. He didn't need to rush that play because Salmon, the way he's injured now, just can't get down the line.
Although just watching Tim Salmon run, he ran faster this time than he has all series. But Miguel Tejada, that play is so natural for him to charge, and he has such a strong arm to be able to flip the ball underneath the way he does. But you're right. If it's a slower player, take the time and make the overhand throw, which is more accurate.
And we've seen Tejada rush plays when the runner's been about halfway down the line. And also on a play like that, where he had to change arm angles, what Ron Washington is trying to get him to do, Ray, is concentrate on the throw. He's just been picking it up and instinctively firing it over to first base, unaware of where he is on the field, what arm position he needs to lock into. And he thinks if he works on some of these things, he'll cut back the errors. Washington is such a good teacher to have. It's pure enjoyment for me to sit on the bench and just talk about playing the infield with Wash. He has such great knowledge of it.
He can still play right now.
He makes that point a lot.
Yeah. You know, he picked up on something with Miguel Tejada that it would only take somebody like Wash to do, the way he positions the fingers, where he does not really feel the ball once it hits in the pocket of the glove. Normally you have the 3 fingers, the index finger outside the glove and the other 3 in the pockets. He takes the other fingers and puts them in the the last hole,
the pinky hole,
and that's why he's always fumbling for the ball, because he can't feel it once it gets into the pocket.
Also, Rafael Bornegal does that, although Bornegal is such a good fielder and he's able to get away with it, but Washington wanted that stop quickly. Knocks it down. Now here he has time to set himself and make the play. He was well aware that was Cecil Fielder, and he could get that out 2 away.
And then take a look at his chest to see if there's a hole in it, because he took that ball right off his chest. Watch this. This takes something right there to get in front of the ball. Took a little bit of a bad hop. Took it on the chest, got up, and a strong throw, and gets Big Daddy by plenty. Picked it up bare hand. Got the good grip on the ball. Yeah, that's you don't see a lot of guys do that. You'll see guys olay it and try to take it off to the side instead of using the body.
Garrett Anderson flirting with the 300 mark. He was down in the 250 range in late May, and he got searing hot, as did the Angels. Of course, the month of June, their best June in history. They won 22 games, lost only 6. They had gone winless in July, having lost the first 4. Garrett Anderson had 4 hits in Friday night's loss, and then he came back last night with a 1-for-4 game. Also, he's made a couple of mistakes in the outfield. Playing it right now. Before this year, the injury to Salmon had been the everyday left fielder. Jimmy Haynes, having retired the first 5 men, and he misses there. There's the first base runner of the game for the Angels. A 2-out 2nd inning walk to Garrett Anderson.
Mike McFarland, the catcher today for the Athletics, realizes that Jimmy Haynes must use all of his pitches, and Mike has done that so far in the early part of this game. Changeup especially, and of course when he was hit on the right wrist, he was forced to use that changeup more because it hurt him when he threw the curve. Mac works very well with all the pitchers.
Here's the Angel catcher, Matt Wahlbeck. Jimmy Haynes, Ray, has been able to cut down the walks this year. That's his 46th walk of the season. And 106 1/3. Last year he walked 40 and just slightly more than 73. Bornegal again going down, but he slides over to make the play. Great play by Rafael Bornegal. He can leave those three fingers buried into the pinky hole the way he plays. Nothing for the Angels. 1-0 A's after 2. Major leaguers will be off the next 3 days for the All-Star break. You can still watch baseball with us. We'll have the Giants AAA club, the Fresno Grizzlies, as they take on the Padres AAA club, the Las Vegas Stars. That'll be tomorrow night at 7 o'clock right here on Fox Sports Bay Area. Chuck Finley to Ricky Henderson. Throws strike one. The A's going through the batting order a second time. First time through, they got 1 run, a home run by Mike Blowers, his 6th of the year, out to right center. Strike 2 to Ricky Henderson.
Club area just below us, I think somebody's having some garlic. It's kind of filtering up this way. Maybe
Are we in Gilroy here?
Yeah, I don't know, but maybe some pasta with some garlic sauce or something.
Well, if you like garlic, you got to get to Gilroy, California.
Been there.
Unbelievable.
Yep.
Of course, you have to brush your teeth every 6 minutes while you're there, but
that's the area right below us here at Edison International Airport.
Strike 3 called. We're laughing as Ricky agonizes. He didn't like that call by Drew Coble, but Finley has the first out of the 3rd.
Well, Ricky is starting out with a foul ball out and then a strikeout, but it's early. Right on the outside corner, and Drew Coble making that call for Jimmy Haynes as well as Chuck Finley.
Now he'll work to Rafael Bornegal. Chuck Finley's been getting ahead today, throwing strike 1 quite a bit. Bornegal jumps on the first one, pops it. Gary DiSarcina fighting the sun. Will make the play off to the side for the second out. Very bright and beautiful day today. Temperature at 80 degrees at first pitch. The Angels have been playing a lot of Sunday evening games. In fact, of their 12 home Sunday games this year, 9 are going to start at 5 o'clock. This is one of only 3 to start at 1 o'clock. Of course, the reason today we're starting early is because they want to give these guys a little jump on the All-Star break.
It's not helping the Mariners and the Rangers who are playing tonight. The national game. Ken Griffey Jr. for back-to-back seasons will be going to the All-Star game following a Sunday night game. Has he decided to participate in the All-Star home run contest? I know he said no, and now Barry Bonds was going to, right? He changed his mind.
Bonds said no, then said he would take part. Juan Gonzalez has also said no. As far as I've been led to believe, he's not going to take part in the home run hitting competition, which will be held tomorrow at Coors Field. Ben Grieve will be in the rookie home run hitting contest.
Ben was saying something yesterday that I didn't know, that he's going to be paired with an old-timer. They're going to have rookies plus old-timers. Dave Kingman, I think, is supposed to be there. Andre Dawson and 2 others, and then 4 rookies.
Who's his teammate?
He doesn't know. I think Todd Helton, Ordonez from Chicago is going to be there. And Travis Lee. So 4 rookies total, 2 and 2 from each league.
It's a pretty good group. That's the 4 I'd take. 3-2 pitch. Ben Grieve cracks one. Edmonds back. And he makes the play short of the warning track as Ben did not quite drive it. although it sounded good. The A's go down 1-2-3. The top of the order quietly against Chuck Finley. We'll come back with the bottom of the third. 1-0 A's.
Is available at the Coliseum box office or at Bass Ticket Centers. Call 510-762-BALL.
And you can take advantage of that very early in the second half of the year. In fact, the first 11 games of the second half of the year will be in the Coliseum, an 11-game homestand beginning Thursday at 12:15 against the Rangers. Roberto Martin wants to make sure he's all there. He wears that face mask on the batting helmet for that very reason. He has been hit up high throughout his career. Martin, the longtime Chicago White Sox, signing on as an Angel free agent this past winter.
They're going back inside.
91-mile-an-hour fastball, and the count is 2-1 to Martin. He'll be followed by his double play partner today, Gary DiSarcina, from the top of the batting order, and Darren Erstad. Jimmy Haynes leading Chuck Finley 1-0. And there's a strike.
Throw a couple of pitches inside to a player who has been hit. At least he starts thinking about it opening up. That time McFarland called the fastball outside corner and got the strike. Looks like another fastball on the outside.
Martin a little tardy, and the count remains 2-2. Martin was playing a lot of second base early this year, but with Justin Bachman taking over as their everyday second baseman, he has been playing as a reserve. In fact, playing some outfield to get in the lineup. The breaking pitch misses Ray, and the count is full.
Now Martin can look fastball on 3-2. Jimmy Haynes probably go with his percentage pitch here after throwing the 2-2 curve and missing. When you have a 90+ mile-an-hour fastball, you can do that.
And he's been late on it throughout the at-bat. So Haynes strikes out Martin. Or Jimmy, his second strikeout of the afternoon.
McFarland target right in the middle of the plate, saying just throw a strike. And he does, and throws it by him. Martinez with that high bat angle up over the head. Several players use that style. It means you have to move it a lot to get it back through the hitting zone.
The number 9 hitter, Gary DiSarcina, averaged well over 300 as he has been red hot the last 32 games, hitting about 370. Ordinarily, with the caliber of defense that he's been playing for the Angels this year, Ray, you would say he is an all-star candidate, but in actuality, not so. If Nomar Garciaparra can't make it this year, then Gary DiSarcina is not going. 2-0 pitch is fouled off.
Well, I thought the big argument about Nomar Garciaparra, tremendous numbers, 24-game hitting streak ended yesterday, and that so-called snub might cost him a cool $1 million over the course of his contract. Because if he makes the All-Star team 4 years between his contract and the year 2000, in the 2 option years, they add $500,000 to each of those years. And now he has to make it every year for the next 4. But on the other hand, by the time he reaches his option years, they will extend the contract. That's going to be chump change with the contract he's going to get. Because he is a player and will continue to be that type of a player.
Shortstop position in the American League right now with Jeter, Rodriguez, Esquel. That's the way first base has been in this league for the last 10 years.
And they're young shortstops, and the A's have one right here, Miguel Tejada.
3-2 pitch, ball 4. That's Jimmy's second walk of the game. So one time through the Anaheim batting order, he does not allow a base hit, but he does walk 2.
Must be something about Gary DiSarcina, a guy who that should be just his 12th walk of the season. 21 is the most in the last 6 years. Mike Oquist last night walked him on 4 pitches, and he walks to this 3-2 pitch here. Maybe they know he's going to be swinging the bat, and they want to just make sure he puts the ball in play. Couldn't throw a strike.
He has a string of 6 consecutive years, Ray, where he's not drawn 30 walks, and he plays just about every day. A big reason why the A's have won the first 2 games of this series. They have been able to hold this guy in check. Erstad 0 for 4 last night. Did go 2 for 5 on Friday night. This one a sliced foul. His first at bat today, he flied out to center. Larry Boa third base coach.
Talk about intensity.
Did you hear he got into it with J.T. Snow this week? He was barking at J.T., the former Angel, to get in the box, get in the box. And J.T. from the Giant dugout was easily heard around the ballpark yelling back at Boa.
Something you don't see that much in today's baseball, where the coaches are involved, but Boa has been that type of a player, manager, and now as a coach. That's one of the reasons Terry Collins hired him.
Yeah.
Because of that.
This is going to be a tough play. Warner goal to first. Erstad's out. Ball's chopped off the plate. Erstad can fly. DiSarcina gets to second base. Erstad is the second out of the inning.
Probably only position player on the infield that ball could be hit to and record an out. On the left side of the infield, forget it, because the way he gets down the line. But Rafi positioned himself to be able to throw as soon as he caught the ball, and it was like he received a feed from Tejada in the double play. Look at him set up there, one step, and throw with something on it.
So 2 away. The batter now is 35-year-old Craig Shipley. Ooh, right off the mask of McFarland. Drew Coble can empathize with that feeling, so he buys McFarland a moment or two.
And that's Wahlbeck and McFarland. Drew Coble's got to be wondering, when am I going to get it?
It does happen in threes, doesn't it? There, Boa. With his back to the hitter, he's got to be careful there. He'll take a peek, especially what happened to Tim Salmon the other night. Yeah. He got blasted by Justin Bachman on third base.
Tough for a coach, because he has to look at the runner at second and keep an eye on the infielders if they're going to try to break in behind him for a pickoff.
Oh, nice pitch by Jimmy Haynes. He's all over Shipley. Shipley's had a rough day today. He's batted twice, struck out twice, seeing 6 pitches. 1-0 A's after 3.
Field and take pictures of your favorite A's, and if you're one of the first 20,000 fans that day, you'll receive a free Oakland A's team photo. Get tickets now by calling Bass 510-762-BALL. And did Drew Coble get it?
He got it.
He got it. So now are all 3 up.
I'm going to move away from you. You may not be safe.
No,
here.
3s, man. 3.
Well,
plus we can duck up here.
You're an old catcher, former catcher, young man. Yeah. Kevin Mitchell takes a strike.
You were right the first time.
Quick save, huh? Mitch bounced to short his first time up. He'll be followed by Jason Giambi and Mike Flowers. The A's leading 1-0. Flowers homered off of Finley. A's only have 2 hits. McFarland also had a 2-out single in that second inning. And stares for a second straight game, watching after another big night here on Friday. And a 2-run double in the first inning. 3 RBIs in total. Kevin Mitchell is out as Chuck Finley picks up another strikeout.
Take him with his glove without the ball in his glove. Smart. Let's see if we can follow this through. Mitch swinging at a bad pitch. Matt Wahlbeck picking the ball up probably with his bare hand.
Let's see.
Ball in his glove.
No, we can't tell.
Yeah, he had the ball in his glove.
Although we have seen that happen.
Only Carlton Fisk does that on play at the plate when he tags out 2 runners.
That's right. That's the famous play.
That's right.
2 Yankees, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Jason Giambi popped out to short as Finley pitched him inside effectively. One problem Chuck Finley has been having this year, Ray, is getting left-handers out, and he's a little uncertain as to why, although he's been able to get throughout most of his career by with great success against lefties. Giambi has hurt him throughout his career. And last year, lefties hit 164 against Finley. This year, coming into the start today, it is 284. And against righties, it's well below 230.
He works to the third base side of the pitching rubber. He does that primarily because of the majority of the hitters he faces are right-handed. But it's a different angle for him to left-handers, and that might be one of the reasons. Not able to get the ball inside, although he has done that effectively today. But I still believe that if a left-handed pitcher does not see normally that many left-handed hitters, that it's just a change totally. That the A's will feature 3 normally when Matt Stairs plays, and that's just a different look for left-handed because they're accustomed to seeing right-handed hitters using most of the outside part of the plate, balls sinking away from them. There's, if you can barely see the pitching river, but that's the third base side, the extreme side.
Wow, they really got this one buried, don't they? Mike Flowers again to right center. This one's not as deep. He homered last time up. This one is caught by Jim Edmonds. A 1-2-3 inning for Finley, throwing only 9 pitches. We have played 3.5 from the Big Ed. 1-0 A's. Jim Edmonds will open the bottom of the 4th here against Jimmy Haynes. Edmonds just 1 base hit on this series, and he has struck out 4 times. 3 of those strikeouts came last night. Edmonds having another very solid season, though. He certainly has to be considered for the All-Star team. High drive to right. Ben Grieve is back, and we are tied at 1. That is a typical Jim Edmonds home run. His 15th of the season. They even blast off fireworks here during the game. With that uppercut and swing toss, he really can get the ball in the air.
Especially on a fastball. Jimmy Haynes will throw the good fastball, but if it's not where he would like to pitch to the hitters, especially a power hitter, it can leave the yard.
Well, the A's have been getting Erstad, Edmonds, and Salmon out during this series. That is the first Angel hit of the day, and it ties the game at 1 here in the bottom of the 4th. This lineup just keeps on coming. 18 bombs for Erstad. Edmonds has 15, as does Salmon. Fielder has 14. Anderson has 10. Now Dave Holland's on the bench. He's very near to double figures. Two-one pitch.
Jimmy Haynes, the 1-1 offering to Jim Edmonds. Fastball always up too, and that uppercut swing helps even more with a pitch that's up if he can get around on it, which Edmonds has the power to do exactly that.
Jimmy Haynes now goes full.
Maybe it's the touch of blonde.
You think so? He's trying to get it out now. A little bit of the Chuck Finley look. Just a touch. That's ball 4. Another walk for Haynes, his 3rd of the afternoon. Now that's almost white. That's platinum blonde.
Actually, that's the first time I've seen him without his hat. Yeah, he's usually sitting on the bench with his cap on.
Apparently his wife, the actress Tawny Katane, had no impact on him going with a blonde look. That was Chuck. Tawny is here watching the game as Cecil Fielder hits one down the line. Salmon will get to 3rd. And Cecil Fielder pulls in with a double. Now the A's lead is gone, and now they are in danger of falling behind in the game.
Tried to start Cecil with a curveball. Figured he's going to be looking fastball, and Cecil was all over it, and the curve was down. He just dropped the head of the bat, and Tim Salmon not running that smoothly. Short strides. Trying to take it easy and at least able to get to 3rd base.
He had a cortisone injection into that left foot recently, just trying to deal with the pain. He has a partially torn plantar fascial ligament in the left foot. He's been playing with that since late April. Anderson will drive in a run. Bornagol makes the throw. Salmon scores. It's 2-1, and Cecil Fielder, on a very productive out by Garrett Anderson, is in position to score another.
From the Angel standpoint, ideally you'd like to have a left-hander up there, especially a guy like Anderson who has been pulling more of late. It's out in front of a pitch, moves him over. Now the A's move the infield in.
RBI number 40 for Anderson, but in reality he has set his club up to score twice. Let's see what Wallback can do. He bounced out to 2nd his first time up. Garrett Anderson having another very solid year. Driving the ball a lot more. He's already hit 10 home runs this season. Jimmy Haynes, first 3 innings, and only allowed 2 walks, no hits, no runs. But here in the 4th, he gives up a leadoff home run to Edmonds, a walk, a double, an effective ground out by Anderson, and now he misses badly on the 0-1. And there's a curveball that is also called a ball by Drew Coble. 2 balls and 1 strike.
Coble not calling that high pitch, even though it's interesting that Edmonds hit the home run on a pitch that was up around the letters. Probably would have been called a ball. Jimmy Haynes clearly now fidgeting and losing his release point a little bit. You can see him walking around the mound in an agitated manner, trying to get himself going. McFarland trying to calm the young man down. A couple of right-handers to follow, Martin and DiSarcina. This could be a pitch that not really concerned if he do walk the man. He's trying to set up a double play. He's infield more likely now will move back as Rick Peterson comes out to talk to Jimmy Haynes.
This is a good visit. He obviously needs someone to just slow down the tempo a little bit. Jimmy Haynes clearly, Ray, the first half of the season has been the A's second most productive starter behind Kenny Rogers. In a lot of ways, he has had, I don't know if you'd call it a breakthrough season, but he's had breakthrough stretches. But he still is vulnerable to the occasional flare-up. He's still a young man at age 25. A year ago at this time, he was pitching the minor leagues for Baltimore.
And just has not had the experience at this level, something that Kenny Rogers has had in various capacities. And Kenny knows how to handle tough situations. That's something that Jimmy will gradually, he'll have to get better just because of the time that he's going to spend here and the opportunities to pitch.
Infielders can drop to double play depth now. Runner at third base is Cecil Fielder. Of course, he does not run well. A fly ball. It'll be risky whether he'll be able to score. And the A's will try to get a double play here. Wallback is the runner at first.
Positive approach from Rick Peterson. More likely went out to tell him one good pitch, get a ground ball, double play, and get back in the dugout, trailing by 1 run.
Strike. 1 ball, 1 strike. And these are the moments that separates pitchers. Everybody's going to give up a run or 2. You have to. If you keep the damage to a couple of runs, get back into the dugout down just 2-1, that's not so bad. But if it blows up on you, that's when it can really fall apart. Martin again slapping it down the right field line. Count is a ball and 2 strikes.
That was a good pitch. Good curveball because he mixed it in. He thrown a couple fastballs, and remember last at bat 3-2 struck him out on a 3-2 fastball. So Martin probably thinking that he's going to throw the hard stuff. So now he can go either direction.
Kept it low. Martin lays off. Waiting on deck is Gary DiSarcina. Missed the target there. The count is full.
And we'll see what Terry Collins does with Matt Wallback at first. The confidence he has to have of Martin putting the ball in play to avoid the double play.
Again, Jimmy steps off the rubber.
This is a time when it's not really necessary to try to figure out if the runner first is going to move or not. You're still going to leave your infield back. Wallback not blessed with a lot of speed. Cecil at third base also. Just make the quality pitch to the hitter.
Step off, look to third, look to first. They're booing here. They weren't even ready for the Coliseum on Tuesday.
John next to us here is shaking his head.
What did he say? That play never works?
Yeah, well, it did. It ended the game.
We have evidence of that play working. Mike Fetter's picking off Ruben Rivera. Wallback's going. Martin slaps it back into the crowd. Foul. The Angels have scored twice here in the bottom of the fourth. Leadoff home run by Jim Edmonds. Walk to Salmon. Cecil doubled. Salmon scored in the ground ball. Now Cecil's over at third. And Wallback, who later walked, is at first. Still only one out. And a long inning for Jimmy Haynes. After really cruising through the first three, he has already thrown 23 pitches here in the fourth. He had those perspiration marks on the cap before the game even began, but they may be building. There goes Wallback again. Again, Martin slapping it down the line. Foul.
Kind of a similar at bat for Roberto Martin, as he was leading off last inning. Figured on 3-2 he's going to get a fastball. Now in this at bat, also figures Jimmy Haynes is going to throw the fastball and try to get him to swing and miss or hit the ball someplace to get a double play. So he can sit on the fastball and you can see the swings, even though he was behind the pitch, still making better contact.
Again, he fouls it back, and he is making more solid contact. You see the A's defensively have Ryan Christensen playing well towards the gap. He's almost in the gap right now in right center. And in right field, Ben Grieve is in and towards the line. They don't expect Martin to pull the ball here, so you'll likely see more fastballs from Haynes. 3-2, and the runner moving. Fair ball up the middle. Bornegal makes one play. Scoring is Cecil Fielder. Safely to second is Wallback. And the Angels lead 3-1. Good at bat for Paco Martin. Fought off a lot of tough ones and hit the ground ball to score a run and drive in his 12th run of the season. Gary DiSarcina with a runner in scoring position will bring him home with a shot to left center. Wallback scores. DiSarcina will stop with a 2-out double. The Angels get 4 here in the fourth, and that lead 4-1. Both of the walks issued by Haynes come around to score in this inning.
Something the A's have been taking advantage of the Angels walks in this series. And DiSarcina, who typically will swing at a lot of first pitches, doesn't in this at bat.
So the 8th hitter of the inning for the Angels steps in. Leadoff man Darren Erstad, who was 0 for 2 today. Line to center. And then in the third, he bounced out to second. Jimmy Haynes misses with the first two.
Now they're going to intentionally walk him with Shipley, who has been struggling the first two at bats.
Shipley is struck out his first two at bats today, as Ray alludes to, and he's done so on 6 pitches. They'll let Erstad, the first-time All-Star, go to first intentionally. First and second, still 2 outs. And the Angels have hit around this inning now with Shipley stepping in. Shipley making only a spot start at third base today for Dave Hollins. Tejada to second, out. Just by a step, they're able to get Darren Erstad. The inning is over, but it's a rough one. Jim Edmonds homers to open it. They score 3 others. Angels 4-1 now after 4. The fourth off of Jimmy Haynes now. They can throw their trump card down at the A's. Chuck Finley, who was getting into a nice roll. Here's a play that is going to result in a base hit for Miguel Tejada over the reach of Paco Martin. That breaks a streak of 7 in a row retired by Finley, as Tejada has the bloop single opening the 5th.
Sun might have been just enough in the eyes of Martin to Not enable him to get a good enough jump on the ball and keep his eye on the ball. Just missed it over his glove, but starts the Athletics here in the 5th. That's how close it was to being an out.
Batter is Mike McFarland. His second at-bat of the afternoon. On a 3-2 pitch, he rifled a fastball into center field for a hit. A couple of guys who have been around a little bit. McFarland, 34 years of age, and Chuck Finley at 35. Both have played their entire careers in the American League. Virtual contemporaries. In fact, as far as professional baseball, they are contemporaries. They both were in the 1985 draft. Angels took Finley #1 out of Northeast Louisiana State, while the Royals took Mac #4, round 4, out of Santa Clara. Sarcina going out to shallow left center. He's got it, and Mike McFarland is retired. Well, these infielders and the outfielders rarely fighting the blue sky and brilliant sunshine today.
Maybe that's why they're playing 5 o'clock games. Number of reasons, but that also helps.
Chuck Finley likes it here at the renovated Edison International. Overall, he's got a great ERA, no matter if it's home or away, just a little bit over 3, 5th best in the American League. A big reason why the Angels are going to the 5 o'clock starts here on Sunday, Ray, is the theory that so much to do down here in Southern California that folks can go out and do something in the day and still have time to duck in and catch a game at night. But it really has not resulted in increased attendance. I think people are used to baseball on Sunday at 1 o'clock.
Also makes it tough for the team that's in here and leaving town. On a getaway day and you're playing a 5 o'clock game, it's very difficult.
Tejada's moving, and the throw from Wallback also moving, sailing, and Miguel Tejada has stolen second base. His second steal of the year.
It's something that you like to see a catcher do. Wallback realized that Tejada had a tremendous jump off the pitcher Chuck Finley, and he tried to just get rid of the ball as quickly as he could to get it down to second base and try to throw out a guy that he knew was going to be impossible, to take his time and make the normal throw. And granted, it was offline, but simply because he tried to make up for the difference that was created because of the good jump.
Christensen bunting again. He showed bunt the first time. I thought maybe it was just to stretch out over the plate and get in the way of the catcher a little bit, Ray, but then he shows bunt again on that pitch.
Well, I think here's an opportunity for a guy to drive in a run. The A's are down 3, and granted, if he bunts and he's successful, it's first and third, but if he makes out, that means that the runner's at third with 2 outs. Here, with the stolen base, 2 opportunities to drive him in from second.
Third baseman Craig Shipley has not taken the bait. He is still deep at third. As Christensen looking to swing away that time, let the ball go out of the strike zone for ball 2. Christensen struck out his first time up against Finley. Finley, one of the top strikeout pitchers in the league, and struck out 4 this afternoon. That ball is crunched to center. Jim Edmonds racing after it, will not get it. A one-hopper against the wall. Tejada scores, and Ryan Christensen pulls into second base with an RBI double. It is 4-2 Angels.
Now that's what you're supposed to do with a runner in scoring position. Now he's there where Ricky can drive him in and keep the inning going. Got a fastball from Chuck Finley, and hey, there's not too many fastballs that Ryan Christensen has not been hitting hard. Edmonds playing him shallow, normally goes back well on fly balls, but that ball hit too hard off Christensen's bat.
And this is a very important inning for the Oakland A's. After giving up 4 in the bottom of the 4th, Finley began this 5th on a roll. He had retired 7 in a row, but the veteran unable to come through with the shutdown inning. The A's come right back with a single and then an RBI double. And have cut the lead back down to 2.
And I like the aggressiveness of Art Howe. Down 3, yet sending Tejada to get in a scoring position. Taking advantage of the slow move to the plate by Chuck Finley. Not sitting back waiting for the big inning with the big hit.
Strike to Ricky Henderson. Ricky has not been happy with the calls behind the plate from Drew Coble. Ricky was called out his last time up. First time out to open the game, he fouled out to the catcher. Martin got in behind Christensen. Finley a little late with the throw. And Paco Martin shading Christensen, and he goes back to first as Finley snaps off.
Not a bad move either, because the second baseman can't afford to play close to second, because Ricky does not usually hit a lot of balls to the right side of the infield. He will pull most pitches.
1-1 pitch. Strike 2. Ricky with no reaction for Drew Coble.
Finley is utilizing his breaking pitch, the slider, throwing it inside to Ricky, and Ricky might not be able to pick up the spin, realizing that it is the breaking ball. There's the right field shot. 13 hits have gone to the right side.
That seems like quite a few for Ricky. He almost never gets a base hit to the off field, but he has been doing it more this year. Oh, Drew Coble's going to ring up Ricky. Let's see how Ricky reacts here. He's not happy. Drew Coble has called Henderson out twice today. Two outs, and here's Bornegal. Ball 1.
Well, you just saw the last pitch that was called the ball to Bornegal. Check it out. Not much difference.
Bornegal's got one in the hole. DiSarcina can't get it. Coming around is Christensen. Erstad's throw to the plate is cut. And Christensen scores standing. Rafael Bornegal with a 2-out base hit. His 16th driven in this year. And the A's strike for 2 here in the top of the 5th. And it is 4-3. What are they doing over there?
Still not a fastball to be thrown by Rafael Bornegal. I asked Denny Walling about that, and he said he's got a good approach and he's got that strong top hand. You watch Rafi when he swings at a fastball. That top hand is so quick. And the key pitch in that at bat to Rafael Bornegal was the first pitch, because Drew Coble did not call it a strike, which looked like it was could have gone either way, and put Finley in the hole after the first one.
Ben Grave is quickly into a 2-strike hole. Ben walked his first time up against Finley, and then lined out to center. Finley with a snap throw, and diving back is Bornegal. Finley will throw to first base quite a bit, but runners also run successfully against him a lot. He yields a lot of stolen bases. Another snapper, and Cecil does not apply the tag. Hayes right back into this game after falling behind 4-1 In the bottom of the fourth, they have struck for 2 here in the top of the fifth. Raphael's going. Reeves strikes out. And the inning is over. Brian Christensen doubles in 1. Rafael Bornegal singles in another. And midway through this one, it's 4-3 now, Angels. Jimmy Haynes will open the fifth as he did the fourth. In the fourth, he hit a home run out to right center. A towering shot into the bleachers out there. His 15th of the year. Angels got all 4 of their runs in that fourth. Throughout the first 3 innings, Jimmy Haynes had allowed only a couple of walks. But in the fourth, he gave up 3 hits. He walked 3, 1 intentionally. But he's right back into the game now, Ray, so it's a big inning for him here in the fifth.
Exactly right. That's something that he should be thankful to his offense to make it another 1-run game.
Edmonds, base hit to right field, his second of the afternoon.
Difference there, he hit 2-1 changeup. Out in front, got the top hand on it, though, and still able to get the base hit. He's kept him in the park.
And you mentioned earlier that the game today was similar to that of the last game of the regular season, as these guys will be flying all different directions after the game to take their 3 days off. Also, as we see the call to the bullpen now from Rick Peterson down to Brad Fisher, it is different in the sense the way Rick and Art Howe can use the bullpen. You may see some people get in the game because there's no tomorrow.
That's right.
Well, there will be one on Thursday, but not tomorrow. This one is down the line, foul. Jim Doherty gets up and grabs the baseball.
And look down at the bullpen. There's Tom Candiotti down there. He pitched Friday. This would be his throwing day. That might not be a bad idea. The plan was maybe to have Kenny Rogers available in the bullpen for today if he had been pushed back an extra day or pushed up an extra day, but that was not the case.
Left-hander Buddy Groom is also throwing with Doherty down in that huge bullpen they got. Tim Salmon lifts it towards Ben Grieve. Ben will come over and put it away. I wonder what Tim Salmon thinks of a guy like Ben Grieve. First year All-Star right away, and Tim Salmon still waiting for the notoriety. As Jim Edmonds was an All-Star in 1995 for the Angels.
What was it? The list in the paper today of players who had hit 30 home runs and not made it the All-Star game or to the team, and he's the only one. Tim Salmon.
And he's hit 30 or more home runs the last 4 years.
This year, though, it's understandable. Can't play defensively because of that bad foot, injured foot.
Cecil reaching. Miguel Tejada waving everybody off, although there's not really anybody to wave off. Ricky didn't come in. Blowers didn't go out. That was Miguel's play the whole way. He puts it away.
After Friday night, Ricky said, "You got it."
Yeah, that's yours.
We don't want any more collisions. He said, "You call them all. You call me off. I'll let you have it."
Garrett Anderson's also had a rough weekend defensively. He had that sinking line drive hit his way on Friday night in the first inning that Tejada took his way, let it go past for a single and a 3-base error. He also misplayed a ball last night that went over his head for a double.
I just wonder how much going from left field to right field has affected him. Salmon not able to play the outfield, so Erstad has been moving into left field and Anderson over to right. But also, some of the Angels people say the lights are really bad for the right fielder at the night games. Several balls have been caught in the lights with the right fielder. And that might have happened at least once in this weekend on the Friday or Saturday.
Count is 1-1 on Garrett Anderson. The Angels, with their starting rotation just in shambles, they've still been able to hold it together and have first place with their record of 49 and 36. 3/5 of their starting rotation to begin the year currently on the disabled list. Alan Watson, Jack McDowell, and Ken Hill are all out. And last night, Jared Washburn had to leave the game early, as he had a little tightness in his forearm muscle. The perennial rumor here has one of the outfielders being traded for pitching. Although that really can't happen this year with Tim Salmon unable to play. You need Anderson, you need Edmonds, because Salmon can only DH for you.
Well, Cecil could play first, which he has been. It's just a question if they would want the pitching more, because Edmonds and or Anderson have been mentioned. Tim Belcher's name has been mentioned as a possibility coming here.
Now they currently have Eric Hansen throwing down at AAA, as Anderson rolls this one foul to Giambi, and the count remains 2-2. Hansen, who was released earlier this year by the Toronto Blue Jays, was signed by the Angels as a AAA pitcher. It's quite a testament to Terry Collins to keep this team in first place and playing well with all of the injuries. And not just those three guys. The Salmon injury's been a big problem. Randy Velarde's been hurt. Todd Green's been hurt. Mike James now will be out the year. Giambi can't get that one. Going to third is Edmonds. Garrett Anderson has a base hit. And with 2 outs, the Angels are threatening here in the 5th to increase their 4-3 lead.
Jimmy Haynes has an excellent curveball, but that time he took something off the pitch, allowing Garrett Anderson with the 2 strikes just to stay back and make good contact. When you have a 2-strike count on a hitter, you throw the hard curve so he cannot adjust. Look how slowly this ball is thrown. And even though he was out on the front foot because it was thrown so slowly, he was able to keep his hands back and still hit the ball hard.
Jimmy Haynes walked Matt Wahlbeck last time up, and it was a costly walk, even though runner at third, and it set up a double play. Wahlbeck himself came around to score. Nice change of speed there by Jimmy. 56-mile-an-hour changeup. That's what was so impressive about the outing from Mike Oakquist last night, right? The way he was effectively able to change speeds, then come in with the hard pitches, the fastball.
The one inning he had trouble in the early part of the game. He walked DiSarcina on 4 pitches, and then Erstad with a first pitch out of the strike zone. Rick Peterson went out, catcher went out, A.J. Hinch, and threw the next pitch curveball to Erstad. That got him back in the groove, and he was fine after that. And that's why it's important to mix pitches. You can't stay, even though the fastball is a percentage pitch, you just can't stay with that one pitch and expect to get by.
No, especially not Mike, who's not a real hard thrower, but because of the assortment of pitches, the changing of speeds. A.J. Hinch said they had to throw 4 balls at a plate last night because there was pine tar on him, so he was getting in and up the barrel of the bat on the hitters.
Sure wasn't coming out of his back pocket?
Could that be it?
No.
Could that be it?
Yeah, if that's the case, you're not going to throw it out. You're going to use it to your benefit.
Oh, 2 pitch. Ball back with it. Bad swing. No, he was able to foul it off and stay alive. Just got a piece of it, but not a real good swing there on 0-2.
Well, that's the pitch you want as a strikeout. He was able to tick it to stay alive, but you get a hitter to swing out of the strike zone with a good fastball. You'd like to be able to retire him on that pitch.
Edmonds coming down the line at third, and there you go. He struck him out. Nice change of speeds from Jimmy Haynes to get the inning done. The Angels threaten but leave Edmonds in third and Anderson at first. At the end of 5, it is still 4-3 Angels.
Let's come out to the Coliseum next Sunday, July 12th, when the A's host Will Clark and the Texas Rangers. Game time is 1:05 in the first 10,000 kids 14 and under. And remember, 98 for 98 for those kids 14 and under will receive a free baseball glove courtesy of Pacific Bell. And don't forget, just as I said, 98-cent tickets for 14 and under. Call Bass today, 510-762-BALL. What a deal.
That'll be game 1, Ray, as we wind this series and first half up today. The Angels on top by a run. That'll be game 1 of the second half and game 1 of a real homestand for the Oakland A's. They're going to play an 11-game homestand beginning on Thursday afternoon against the Texas Rangers. The Rangers will be in for 4. These Angels will be coming north to play the A's for the first time with a couple of games on the 13th and 14th, and the Royals will be in for 2, and the Minnesota Twins on the weekend of the 17th. They will be in for 3.
Except for the Angels, starting the second half, the clubs will be in one more time, and that will be it. Twins in Kansas City have already been in town.
Strike 2 to Kevin Mitchell. The A's today are concluding a strange 41-game stretch where they had no homestand longer than 5 games and no road trip longer than 6. It'll be nice to have the club home for a week and a half. And with the A's playing well, Ray, it certainly could be a time to gain more ground in the American League West. The Rangers will be in for the first 4 games, then these Angels. A's beginning play today behind the Angels by 9 games. Rounded left side. DiSarcina shuffles over and makes the play. Kevin Mitchell is 0 for 3 this afternoon.
DiSarcina had to throw the ball over Shipley's head. Shipley had gone to his left trying to catch the ball. DiSarcina caught it and then had to kind of sidearm the ball to avoid hitting him. But he has the experience. He knows what he's doing.
Jason Giambi takes a strike. Jason today has popped out to short. And he has also bounced out to second. 90-mile-an-hour fastball hits the outer black. And the count is 0-2. Giambi enjoying his return to Southern California. Numbers on Finley pretty comparable first half and second half. Ground ball to Martin. 2 outs. Chuck Finley, you look at this current Angel rotation, Ray, and you really wonder how they are able to do it. Finley is their clear #1 guy now. Steve Sparks, who we saw last night, a knuckleball out of the bullpen. He had missed all of last year because of elbow surgery. Jason Dixon has been pitching well, but he was sent to the bullpen in May and almost went down to AAA. Omar Olivares began the year as a long reliever. He's been really the most effective starter, although Friday night the A's jumped all over him. Jared Washburn, who we saw last night, the rookie left-hander with his first major league loss last night, Foss. He was in A-ball only a couple of years ago.
And if the Angels can continue to get good performances out of those pitchers, that's fine. But I think there's a lot of question marks of whether over the course of the second half of the season, and especially the other injured players. And Terry Collins has to hope that Tim Salmon is able to at least DH the rest of the year. He has to go to bed at night just wondering if Salmon's going to take one step and try to push a little bit extra and force him to have to miss the remainder of the season. That's why Todd Green is delaying his surgery in the event something does happen, so he can be the DH, because that's all at this point he can do.
Washburn has been just terrific, and apparently he is okay after having the forearm injury last night. But the point you're making is what I was getting to. This American League West is very much undecided. The Angels, after the hot June, certainly took control of the division. The Rangers are not playing well. They won last night over Seattle. I mean, right now it is hard to pick who is the best baseball team in this division, because the starting rotations for all the teams are really in shambles. The A's probably have the best starting pitching going right now. Two-two pitch.
And how about this scenario? Everybody thought maybe Kenny Rogers might be traded towards the end of the trading deadline. How about if the A's went out and acquired a starting pitcher? I mean, all of a sudden get in a situation where you start the second half, win today, only 8 behind, considering what the prospects of this club were, I think, for this season. It's a major accomplishment so far in the first half.
Lauer's able to take that 92-mile-an-hour fastball straight back to stay alive. That's why I think what happens on this 11-game homestand to begin the second half is going to be very important for the club. That homestand is going to take them from the 9th through the 19th. Of course, the trading deadline will be on the 31st of July, and then they may make a trade like you're talking about. If they have a good homestand, maybe beat the Angels twice more in Oakland, cut the lead down to 6 or 5 games by then. You're very much back in the race. Of course, you also have the wild card in baseball, but the A's right now are closer to the American League West leader, the Angels, than they are the wild card leader, the Red Sox. So you have to keep your sights set in the division right now. Long at bat here for Blowers, making Finley work. Finley got the first 2 outs routinely on Mitchell and Giambi. 3-2 again to Blowers. Blowers takes it down the line and right. A base hit. Coming over is Anderson. Blowers will go to second. Anderson fires. And Blowers with a hustling double with 2 outs. What a great at-bat for Mike Blowers.
He was thinking double as soon as he hit the ball. He realized 2 were out, and it's going to be tough to get back-to-back hits to try to score from first base. So he hustles in the second to force Anderson to try to hurry his throw. Good at bat. Fastball up and outside. And there's the double down the line, and Garrett Anderson got to it as quickly as he could. Caromed off the wall. Did not really make the wall, but Anderson just couldn't get to it quickly enough.
It's also where the loss of Salmon hurts this club. Salmon is a terrific right fielder with a great throwing arm. Ball 1 to Miguel Tejada, so the A's are in position here with another 2-out hit to tie the game. They were down 4-1 after 4, but got 2 in the 5th and are threatening here again in the 6th. Finley misses inside, and the count is 2-0. Even talking about the Angel starting problems, Ray, their bullpen has also had some problems with this injury to Mike James, and James now is going to have exploratory surgery on his right forearm the next couple of weeks, and he's going to miss the remainder of the year. James often overlooked in their bullpen scenario because of the hard throwing Percival, but Mike James, one of the best setup men in all of baseball. He has not been available since the first week of May, and he is done for the year. They've been using Rich DeLucia and Shigetoshi Hasagawa from the right side. Tejada on 3-0 takes a rip and fouls it into the top deck here. First base was open. Waiting on deck is Mike McFarland, and Tejada got the green light on 3-0.
And a gutsy call by Art Howe, because Miguel has been one who was swinging a lot of pitches out of the strike zone in a 3-1 count, much less 3-0, but had a good swing on that 3-0 pitch.
(3-1) now. Ball 4. He gets the walk anyway. Terry Collins himself on the telephone to the Angel bullpen.
Well, you wouldn't think that just in the 6th inning, someone as strong as Chuck Finley, that there would be any concern going to the bullpen to get somebody up. But the 5 pitches to Miguel Tejada were not the crisp fastballs that we have seen from the left-hander today.
Former Giant Rich DeLucia gets up in the bullpen. Finley has thrown 95 pitches so far today on this warm Southern California Sunday. Temperature at 80 degrees at first pitch. Veteran from Monroe, Louisiana. A couple of walks now. I don't know, that blonde hair goes over Newport Beach where he lives.
Probably better than in Louisiana.
McFarland with a rip there. McFarland took a fastball to center field his first time up for a base hit. Next time up, he popped out to short. A's have the tying run on at second base in the person of Mike Blowers. Miguel Tejada also running at first. He would give the A's the lead.
That was that nothing pitch. Seeing the grips occasionally where he's had the fingers spread on the two-seam fastball, which, like Kenny Rogers uses it to perfection. That's kind of it right there. Although that could be considered a two-seam where he takes something off the pitch. He can't rotate the ball in his fingers and his hand to go to his other pitches.
A little closer to something there. It just missed. Count is 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Finley had to be thinking, where's Ricky Henderson when I need him? I get that call with Ricky. Ricky would like to have some of the calls that other players are getting today.
Here's a big pitch. Finley does not want to go 3-2. But he will. And that will get the runners moving. A huge advantage for Blauer, scoring on a base hit now.
Finley, after walking Miguel Tejada on 5 pitches, knowing that McFarland's a good fastball hitter, started with a breaking pitch, got a first pitch strike. Now he's taking him to 3-2 with fastballs, some just missing. Will he go back to the 3-2 slider or try to challenge it?
Let's find out. Fastball up. McFarland hits it into the top deck here.
I think Finley has said in the past that he's been upset that he has not been pitching into the 8th inning, maybe completing the game. But he said, I also throw a lot of fork balls 3-2. We have not seen that many today, although he just walked a couple.
Runners again moving, and again McFarland fouls it straight back. He didn't throw his forkball a lot last time.
Right.
The A's saw him here in mid-May. It was a great matchup that night between Kenny Rogers and Chuck Finley. The Angels eventually won the game in extra innings and a throwing error by Blowers. The A's have found a way to beat Finley over the years. He is 7-17 lifetime against the Athletics. Blowers can tie the game today. He's at second base and moving, and McFarland takes strike 3. Finley gets out of it. Had to sweat a bit, but he gets out of the 6th unscored upon and continues on. That's the store for Jimmy Haynes. Paco Martin jumps on the first one and fouls it again into the top deck. A lot of balls, foul balls, do make the top deck here at the renovated, formerly Anaheim Stadium and renamed Edison International Field of Anaheim. Gives you a good idea just how close the fans are to the field. Martin to right center. Christensen was playing him there, and he'll make the play for the first out of the inning.
Great defensive positioning there. They had been playing Paco Martin in the right center. Finally hit a ball there. A's with bullpen activity. Buddy Groom up again. Looks like Mike Fetters has joined him. At this point, no activity for the Angels, even though Rich DeLucia was up in the last half inning.
Edison International, they paid $50 million for a 20-year deal to have the place called Edison International Field of Anaheim. To build this ballpark originally in 1966, it went for $24 million. To renovate it was $117 million as Ben Green makes the play in right field, 2 away.
How much of that did it cost to tear down what they built for the Rams? That was a pretty penny to get rid of that.
This ballpark has seen some changes over the years. It was originally built in '66, and then they enlarged it in 1980 for the LA Rams. Then when the Rams moved to St. Louis, they decided to bring it down. Now it seats just a little better than 45,000. Still, they are disappointed with the attendance this year. The first year the renovation's been fully complete. Aaron Erstad to Ben Green. They're going to Denver, Colorado in the All-Star game. Jimmy Haynes throws 5 pitches in the 6th. And at the end of 6-4, it's still 4-3 Angels.
Baseball Thursday on Fox Sports Net.
Fly away!
The biggest bats.
This is tag. Forget it.
the best arms.
He struck him out.
And the stars of tomorrow hit the field every Thursday.
He robs him of another home run.
The National Game of the Week. Catch Baseball Thursday on Fox Sports Net.
This program, the Oakland A's on Fox Sports Bay Area, authorized by the Oakland Athletics solely for the entertainment of our audience. Any publication, reproduction, retransmission, or other use of the pictures, descriptions, and accounts of this game without the express written consent of the Oakland Athletics Baseball Company is prohibited. Now the siesta is over. Let's see what happens here in the 7th. Chuck Finley had to work very hard in the 6th, but he got out of it unscored upon. But his pitch total now is over 100. This is pitch number 104. Ryan Christensen takes it low for a ball to begin the 7th, Rick. And the A's were able to get Jimmy Haynes in specifics, was able to get the Angels quickly, throwing only 5 pitches, 1, 2, 3 in the 6th. So Finley has not had a lot of downtime here. He's not had time to siesta himself. Cecil Fielder, Mexican hat dance. He gets over and puts it away. 1 out here in the 7th.
Christensen and his speed, not able to get on base. I think it's time that Ricky Henderson, who has had a tough day, especially the couple strikeouts called by Drew Coble on pitches that he did not think were strikes. So Ricky still with at least one more at bat to try to get something going with 1 out.
Fouled out to the catcher to open the game, and then Drew Coble. And Ricky had some glaring going on. Especially his last at-bat. They glared at each other all the way into the A's dugout. So Ricky's going to swing. Strike 1. Drew Coble's been umpiring in the American League since 1982.
And if he wants to, he can umpire to the year 2002 or 22. It doesn't matter.
One pitch. How was that from Chuck? A little different pitch there. Nice fastball.
Seems with the fastball today, Chuck Finley has got a little extra several times, almost as if he's telegraphing and telling the world he's going to throw the fastball, and he's really thrown it a lot harder, at least with a lot more effort. Usually has that nice, easy delivery, kind of the same with every pitch.
Missed with it low that time to go full. Finley, just a little over a year and a half spent in the minor leagues. The winningest pitcher in Angel history. $23,208 through the turnstiles today. Last night they had a huge crowd with a post-game fireworks show, better than 43,000, and they had close to 40 here on Friday night. Ground ball to DeSarcina, and Ricky Henderson's out. 2 outs. Ricky 0 for 4 today. Ricky this week playing both of his former clubs from last year. He began the year with the Padres, then was traded to the Angels in mid-August. And looking at this week, Ray, on Monday, the A's, as they were having their Community Fund Golf Tournament, had to be thinking, wow, this is going to be a tough week. You got the Padres coming in. They lead the National League West. Then we have to go to Southern California to play the Angels. They lead the American League West. The A's have done quite well this week, having won 4 of the first 5.
But after winning 4 of the first 5, you get greedy.
Yeah.
You want that extra one. Still time left in this game.
Well, as Gordon Gekko would say, greed is good.
Yeah.
1 pitch. Born a goal. He pulls that one foul. Count is 0-2 on the A's second baseman today. He singled in a big run. Ground ball. Fastball he took past the dive of DeSarcina back in the fifth. That was the last scoring in the game. That made it 4-3. Fastball misses in. Art Howe's heading to Denver along with Ben Grieve to take part in the All-Star game over the weekend, or this week, early in the week. Bornegal, lazy fly ball. Martin can't get it. It drops. Bornegal going to second. He'll make it. Nobody covering second base. Paco Martin looked like he was going to catch the ball. Then the ball began to drift on him, and there was nobody there to help him out. It drops.
Really surprised that Edmonds was playing as deep as he was, that he was not able to get to that ball. Because he usually plays shallow, and as long as the ball was in the air, he should have been able to get to it. And with both infielders going out, that vacated second base, and Shipley, the third baseman, should have been over covering, or first baseman. And I think once Paco Martinez decided to catch the ball, Edmonds and DeSarcina backed off, and that was a tough play for the second baseman.
Well, you could see him really begin to scramble the last 2 or 3 steps as the ball took off to his right. Of course, it's a costly 2-out, 2-base error by the second baseman Martin, who was normally very short-handed. This could be a big moment in the game now as Ben Grieve gets a chance to bat, and with a base hit, he could tie the game. Strike. Kevin Mitchell is on deck, and Mitch is 0 for 3 today, but Finley's going to go right after Ben Grieve.
Finley is one of the toughest left-handers Ben Grieve probably will face this season because he has the assortment of pitches. He has a good fastball. He'll throw to the outside part of the plate, but he also runs it inside, has that slider and that nothing pitch. Probably will not throw the forkball that much, but I think at the angle in which he throws makes it tough on left-handers.
Two and one. And this could quite possibly be Finley's last batter of the game. If he loses Grieve, you may see Terry Collins go to Rich DeLucia. DeLucia is not throwing any longer in the bullpen. He's just tossing every now and then. He is warm and ready.
Also has to think about Matt Stairs, who would be available to pinch hit more than likely. We're assuming that anyway. And since Mitch is in the DH slot, Stairs could stay there. Those are the decisions managers have to make.
Count goes 2-2 on Grieve. You know, Ben Grieve hoping for an all-star game like any one of the 3 he had last weekend at Coors Field. He just wore out the Rockies. 9 for 13, a home run, 4 doubles. Scored 4 runs, drove in 8 in that 3-game series.
Said he's looking forward to being around some of the players, a lot of the players that he grew up watching, especially in Arlington when he worked as a bat boy. Some of the visiting players coming in, and also Juan Gonzalez, Pudge Rodriguez, that he was around a lot with his father as a general manager.
Two-two pitch. He takes it to center. Edmonds back, and he's going to get Ben Grieve again. So Chuck Finley gets Paco Martin off the hook. The 2-out error does not hurt the Angels. Will stretch, come back with the bottom of the 7th. Anaheim still lead it 4-3. 4-3 baseball game. Jimmy Haynes, after getting rocked for 4 in the 4th and then getting himself out of a jam in the 5th. And a 1-2-3-5 pitch 6th. So he continues now here, opening the 7th. Still down a run. He'll face number 2 hitting Craig Shipley, and he hits him to open the inning. And that's something he certainly did not want to do, as Shipley has been having a very difficult game in the batter's box against Haynes.
Well, if ever a guy wanted to take one for the team, I think that was the case.
Tough way to begin the 7th inning.
That'd be it,
for
too.
Jimmy. And it's going to be his last pitch. 98 pitches thrown. He threw 42 in the first 3 innings. And then he threw 50 in innings 4 and 5 combined. The 5-pitch 6th set him up to go deeper. But Jimmy Haynes' first half of the year is over. He will next start a week from today in the Coliseum against the Texas Rangers in the finale of that coming 4-game series. With Jim Edmonds scheduled to step in, a very tough left-handed batter, we are going to welcome in Buddy Groom for 3. Finley can get off the hook here as far as the loss. That'll be up to the bullpen. And left-hander Buddy Groom. Buddy will make his 41st appearance of the season. He has pitched well in July, retiring 6 of the 7 hitters he has faced. In fact, he appeared in each of the first 2 games on this series, going an inning both last night and Friday night. His first opponent, Ray, will be a tough guy in Jim Edmonds.
And Art Howe probably saying, can you give me one batter today after working the last 2 games? And the one batter probably would be Jim Edmonds, because Mike Fetters is throwing hard in the bullpen. And a couple of right-handers. This is Jim Edmonds with a high fastball from Jimmy Haynes. Edmonds back to the 4th inning, the 4-run 4th, the only inning the Angels have scored today, but it was a big crooked number that they put up the 4 spot, and that's keeping him in the lead right now.
Edmonds also singled off of Haynes in his next at-bat, so he'll go against Buddy Groom for a 14th time in their respective careers. Over at first base is Craig Shipley after being hit by Jimmy Haynes. Ray mentioned the 2 right-handers on deck. They are Tim Salmon and then Cecil Fielder, so Buddy Groom will be facing only Edmonds. Groom threw 10 pitches last night, and he threw 17 on Friday night. Groom did face Edmonds last night, and he got him on a ground ball to second. Batters getting ready for Salmon and Cecil. 1-1. Misses. 2 balls and 1 strike. We are in the bottom of the 7th. Angels on top, 4-3.
Interesting, in the first couple of games of this series, Jim Edmonds, every time he swung the bat and missed, he just grabbed his right shoulder, his right arm, and kept it against his body as if he was in just terrible pain, but he's not been doing that today.
Well, about 3 weeks ago, Fosse was hit by a Clint Sadowski pitch. Right-hander for the Diamondbacks caught him in the right shoulder blade.
But can miracles happen overnight?
Evil spirits come out. He's just one of those guys who's always hurt. As recklessly as he plays. That's off the foot of Groom. And he has 1 play. He'll get Edmonds. And Buddy Groom will have 3 days to let that foot heal as he took a shot.
That would have been a ball you'd like to see it gone through Buddy Groom, because it was not hit that hard to make it into center field, and Miguel Tejada could very easily have caught the ball. But pitchers are taught from spring training forward to catch everything back at them, not knowing that the middle infielder is going to catch the ball or not.
Buddy Groom gets his man, getting Jim Edmonds. It'll turn things over now to Mike Fetters. And this is a very pivotal stage in the game. If Fetters can get out of the bullpen, he'll be coming in. The best run producers in all of baseball. He'll be the first challenge. Then Cecil Fielder will be challenge number 2 against Mike Fetters, making not only his first appearance of the weekend, but Mike has not pitched since his 32nd appearance of the year, which was Tuesday against the San Diego Padres. Ray, that game we alluded to earlier when he was the guy who saved the game ultimately. That was after some dicey moments. He had to pick Ruben Rivera off base to end the game and get that 12-10 victory for the A's.
Well, you could say he's well rested, but he could also be well rusted.
We'll find out, I guess.
That's tough. Relief pitchers, especially a guy like Fetters, likes to pitch on a regular basis and get work, steady work, that is.
And Fetters didn't get much work even that day. He only got one guy out. That was the guy who picked off Rivera. He threw only 9 pitches. And his 10th was the big one on the pickoff. So Jimmy Haynes responsible for Craig Shipley, who is now in the scoring position. Shipley's at second base, the longtime San Diego Padre. Art Howe had this matchup all lined up. Fetters versus Salmon. Angels leading 4-3. It also appears as though Chuck Finley will not be returning, Ray. They're going to go to the bullpen for the 8th inning.
Finley is sitting in the dugout looking for an insurance run for the pitcher who might be coming in to replace him, if indeed he is finished for the day. Lucia had been up, and no activity right now, but usually if the pitcher's ready, he sits down and waits for at least 2 outs before he gets back up. And as warm as it is, it doesn't take too long to get loose anyway.
Runners moving. McFarland's throw, and he is out. No, he's safe.
He dropped the ball.
He dropped the ball. Flowers looked like he had the tag on Shipley. Third base umpire Larry Young was holding up the right arm to punch him out, but Flowers could not handle the ball, and Shipley is safe.
Oh, McFarland made the throw. Is right there, but as he put the glove down, of course, the third base umpire Larry Young did not see that Flowers had dropped the ball when he placed the tag, and that's why his arm went up.
They have charged that an error on third baseman Mike Flowers. As a catch and tag clearly would have gotten Shipley.
You could almost compare that to Scott Brocious yesterday on the missed call with the umpire behind Brocious. He clearly missed the ball, but I don't know that Flowers even had the ball cleanly in his glove because he was catching it and moving it down. But still, it did drop out, and had he held on, would have been the second out.
Instead, 1 out. The count runs full to Salmon, and Art Howe, of course, in this 1-run game is forced to bring the infielders in. It is ball 4 on the bounce. Well, at least now they can drop the infielders back and go for the double play.
David Mayshore going into pitch run for Salmon. As Terry Collins might think more about sending a guy like Mayshore as opposed to Salmon, who can't run.
Mayshore, the former Oakland Athletic and Bay Area product. Clayton Valley High School in Concord. With the A's for 7 years. Came up a little bit in '96, and he was up for the entire year last year. Cecil coming over is Giambi. That will be well out of play for a strike. Cecil fielder strikes out a lot, and he hits into a lot of double plays. Right now the A's will take either.
Might as well just take the double play and get the inning over.
They'd prefer that.
Yeah.
Now the strikeout wouldn't be so bad. Oh, Fetters trying it again. He's out! He did it again!
What do you think, John?
Twice in a week, Mike Fetters has pulled off the look to third and throw to first. And last time it was to win a game. This time it keeps the A's in a game as Damon Mayshore just into the game.
Yep.
And he gets booed on his way off the field.
And he wasn't stealing either. He just got caught. He was just moving off the bag. But the Mike Fetter's one of the best at doing this because he puts the honest-to-goodness fake and immediately looked, and G was there to make the tag.
And you know this time, when McFarland gave him the sign for it, he knew what it was.
Yes. Didn't have to use his thumb.
The other day, he was not sure what the sign was. McFarland almost had to stand up and yell, throw to third, and then pick him off. Well, a big play by Fetters. Now he'll take the strikeout. With 2 outs, Cecil Fielder, who was struck out 79 times this year, the 3rd most in the American League. And he's down 1 ball and 2 strikes. 4-3, bottom of the 7th. The appeal. No, they're not going to get the call this time from Ted Barrett at first base. Count goes 2-2.
Mike Fetters might go on the record book twice in the same week, fake to third, and get a guy going from first to second. These fans here might not boo anymore when they see that play attempted and unsuccessful.
Damon Mayshore not happy. Just into the game to run for the DH, and he gets picked off. Cecil strikes out again. What a performance by Fetters. He picks off Mayshore. He strikes out Cecil, and the Angel rally in the 7th quickly fizzles. It is still 4-3. Minutes or so, or whenever this game is done, if we last a little longer here, we're going to bring you Hooked on Golf. This week, Mitch and John will look back on some of the great golf courses that they've traveled to around the Bay Area. Today at 4 o'clock. Greg Papa, Ray Fosse back at Edison International Field of Anaheim. The Oakland A's, who have won the first 2 games of this series, will look to come from behind today to get a sweep. They won on Friday night 10-6. Last night 8-3.
Terry Collins, excuse me, Greg. Terry Collins obviously a little concerned about maybe going to the right-hander with Matt Stairs in the on-deck circle with Kevin Mitchell, the first hitter. So Chuck Finley is out on the mound, and it looks like he'll probably pitch to Mitchell and then Giambi, the left-hander. And we're told that Troy Percival, the closer, is warming up in the bullpen.
And Chuck has thrown 121 pitches.
So that's the respect that Matt Stairs has coming off the bench. And again, we don't know if he's even available, but at least Terry Collins is thinking that he is. And I would say, knowing Matt Stairs, the way he loves to play the game and can at least give one at bat, and he's got the batting gloves on right now, as a matter of fact. But Terry Collins saying that he would rather have Chuck Finley pitch to Mitchell and Giambi.
We'll see how Finley does. Did a good job to get Ben Grieve out with the final out of the 7th inning. But on this very warm day, temperature at 80 degrees at first pitch, he begins the 8th inning with a strike to Kevin Mitchell. Mitchell bounced out to short, struck out, and then again rounded out to Gary DiSarcina. One pitch. Now it's 2-1.
Looks like this becomes a possible 7 2/3 inning game for Chuck Finley, and if that is the case, he knows, even though he's thrown the number of pitches, that he can bear down, figuring it is 2 more batters that he's going to face. Not trying to stretch it out for a complete game.
And Percival's well rested. Of course, he has not appeared on this series, and he will be going to the All-Star game, though. Troy Percival once again an American League star, as he was 2 years ago. Kevin Mitchell. And he has tied the game with his first home run as an Oakland A. He has waited a long time for that. One of the great sluggers in baseball. One year hit 49 bombs, but here on July the 5th, the last day before the close of the first half, Mitch hits number 1, and it's a big one to tie the game at 4.
Well, the reason the A's signed Kevin Mitchell, showing up at spring training, hitting the 2 home runs, his presence in the lineup, especially with a left-handed pitcher on the mound, and he showed it today. with that huge presence. And again, the strategy in this inning, Chuck Finley trying to get through 2/3, 2 more batters. And so far it's cost him with that bomb by Kevin Mitchell. And now he can probably say to everybody, I've hit 1, so you can't get on me anymore. All the regulars, position players now have homered for the Athletics.
Jason Giambi on a real home run tear the last 2 weeks. He's hit 6. He has bombed each of the first 2 games of this series. Takes this one to left field, lashing a base hit. And the mere presence of Matt Stairs has forced Terry Collins to do something, Ray, I don't think ordinarily he would. And that is send a clearly tiring Chuck Finley back out here for the 8th inning.
Looked like maybe a little bit of a hanging breaking ball. It was not a crisp fastball if it was, but pitch was up. And appropriately, Kevin Mitchell hit it to right center. Not getting out in front trying to pull, which he has tremendous power to the opposite field. And Matt Walbeck out to buy a little extra time for some reason because he has gone to the bullpen. And it was Percival was up. Now Rich DeLucia has gotten back up quickly with a tie game, and it's going to be DeLucia coming in.
Well, you hear about decoys used in football and basketball and hockey a lot, but in a very subtle way it has been used here in baseball. The presence of Matt Stairs forced Finley to begin this inning, and they regret that call. Mitchell a bomb to tie it, and Giambi on at first base to give the A's the lead. Back in Anaheim. A lot of things going on here as the game gets juicy into the top of the 8th. The A's have tied the game. And I think what you're seeing, Ray, is the lack of confidence that Terry Collins has in the bullpen. Rich DeLucia, they mentioned that he and Shigetoshi Hasegawa now are the right-handed setup guys with the injury to Mike James. He's going to be out the remainder of the year. From the left side, probably more importantly here with the presence of Giambi and also Stairs on the bench. Mike Holtz has been struggling. They've been using now Greg Canteray, the former A, as a left-handed setup guy. And there is Canteray throwing in the bullpen. Collins clearly wanted to bypass the middle guys, go right from Finley to Troy Percival, and this time it bit him.
It was open for the 2 outs because Mitchell, Giambi, then you go to Blowers, Tejada, McFarland, Christensen. 4 scheduled to hit will be right-handed hitters. Of course, with the pinch hitter Matt Stairs there. Jack Boyd is going to go into pinch run for Giambi as Kevin Mitchell has tied the game at 4-4.
And he's going to get, with his first home run of the year, our Discover Card Payback Playback.
A hanger, left it up, and Kevin Mitchell dropping a huge bat on it, taking it deep to right center field. Didn't get up in the putt land, but still in an area that cleared the fences.
Captain Jack, and see if the A's can bring him home and take the lead. Jack Boyd, as he's been doing a lot the last month or so, in the run, that he'll play defensively at first for Giambi. Blowers, tough ball to bunt, but he got it down. It will roll foul for a strike. Art Howe looking for the lead here, having Blowers, who himself has homered today, try to get it in position for Bimp Roberts. Bimp has stepped on deck to bat for Miguel Tejada. Flowers' home run, like Mitchell's, went out to right center field. And he's bunting again. And again, it rolls foul. Strike 2.
Trying to force Cecil Fielder to field the ball. Figured that it would be the easiest way to advance the runner.
Well, now Blowers, any way he can, is going to try to move the runner along. Rich DeLucia misses. 1 ball and 2 strikes. DeLucia came up with Seattle, then went to the Reds and Cardinals for a year each. He was a Giant for a year plus. Began last year with the Giants, then was traded to the Angels. There's Hasegawa now, the right-hander, joining Canteray. 1-2 pitch. Count is 2-2.
DeLucia had an interesting trade last year when he was with the Giants and traded to the Angels. The Angels were in town, so were the Giants. He just stayed in the same hotel, changed teams.
On Grand Hyatt, New York. He's got on a different bus.
Good block by Matt Walbeck to keep Jack Boyd at first.
Ooh, Flowers just got out of the way. DeLucia's not had a great year for Terry Collins, as the numbers we just showed you illustrate. He's also had some physical problems. Had some soreness in both his back and his rib cage area.
Looks like the Angels are trying to keep the ball in on Mike Blyer, as we saw it earlier, with the home run, trying to get it in and missed. Now with a 3-2. See if Voigt goes.
He goes. Flowers strikes out. Ball bounces. Safe. Jack Voigt gets to second base. So the A's have the go-ahead run in scoring position now. Flowers strikes out, and there's one away in the top of the 8th.
After the fastball in, throwing the slider outside and fooled Mike Flowers, but the off-speed pitch, and also the fact that Paco Martin did not get over to cover second quickly enough, trying to hold his position with the possibility of Flowers going to the opposite field. And because he was not there, had to dive for the ball just to keep it from going into left field or center field.
That'll bring on Biff Roberts. Last weekend in Colorado, Biff had some big hits, and the A's come from behind victory over the Rockies. Art Howe has a lot more flexibility with the current configuration of the bench, both to pinch run, play defense, and also he's got some good hitters available. Biff Roberts today not in the lineup. Good hitter from either side of the plate. He's pinch hitting for Miguel Tejada. There's a ground ball to short. DiSarcina. On Cecil, they get Biff. 2 outs. Moving down to third base is Jack Boyd. Mike McFarland is being called back. And Art Howe is going to play his trump card right here and now.
And he's probably going to walk it. Go ahead runs at third, so by doing this, probably I would assume have him intentionally walked. I'd be surprised if he gets to swing the bat.
Terry Collins, no, he's bringing in a left-hander.
Go to the lefty.
No, it certainly would appear as though he's going to pitch to Matt Stairs. He's going to bring in Greg Cadere to pitch to Stairs, even though he could elect to walk Stairs, and then pitch to Ryan Christensen with DeLucia. Interesting call. I know what you would do, and now we know what Terry Collins would do and will do. We'll find out how it plays out. Greg Papa, Ray Fosse back with you. The A's have come from down 4-1 to tie the game here in the top of the 8th. Now they want the lead. Art Howe bringing in Matt Stairs to pinch hit. Matt not in the starting lineup last night, not in again today because of the calf/Achilles injury he has, Ray. But he is available to pinch hit, as you mentioned, and in a very interesting call, Terry Collins elects to pitch to Matt Stairs, and he does so with his new left-handed setup man, former A Greg Cadere.
And he has Troy Percival heating up again in the bullpen, and I don't know, the way Matt Stairs hits left-handed pitchers, it's an interesting move. That's all I can say. I think from the A's standpoint, if Matt were going to be intentionally walked, McFarland against the right-handed DeLucia, that's what's so great about this game, because all the different moves that managers make, and sometimes by the book, sometimes not. They make moves, and let's see who wins in this battle. If Greg Cadere intentionally walks Matt Stairs, then we're all in trouble, which he's not going to.
Well, why would he bring in the left-hander?
He's going to bring in the left-hander. He's going to bring in the left-hander to pitch to Matt Stairs, the one batter, and Matt gets on, maybe without driving the run, maybe even if he does drive in the run. Looks like Percival's going to come in.
Well, here we go. Catteray throws a strike to Matt Stairs. Greg Catteray back in the big leagues. He has played for 10 organizations in the past 6 years, mostly at the AAA level. He began this year, the first month of the year with the Angels, as a mop-up man. But with Mike Holtz struggling, he's become their #1 setup man from the left side.
And that was almost a wild pitch. Good stop again by Matt Wahlbeck. Actually going out and catching the ball as it skipped.
Count is 1-1 to Stairs. At third base with the go-ahead run is pinch runner Jack Boyd. Stairs. This could be playable here. Hold on a minute. Shipley, no. Just out of his reach as he falls into the Angel dugout down the stairs. Terry Collins wanted that one.
I thought it was going to stay in from where we're sitting and looking
that way.
out. Looked like he's going to come straight down in play.
A lot of time with a left-handed batter down that line, the ball will spin and come back into play, but just out of the reach of Shipley. So Stairs lives on. Jack Voigt in to run for Giambi. He singled after Mitchell tied the game with a home run. Kevin Mitchell's first as an Oakland A.
Greg Catteray 3 innings on Friday night in relief of Olivares, who went just 3 2/3 innings. Jason Giambi took him deep.
Again low. Also Miguel Tejada hit a home run against him. Marcel Latchman, former manager, now the pitching coach once again. 2-2 pitch. Matt Stairs fouls it out of play into the second deck here. A few more than 23,000 on hand for the game tonight. The Angels are on pace to draw 2.4 million. Somewhat of a disappointment considering how well they've played and how poorly the Dodgers have played. 2-2 pitch. Catteray is going to make Terry Collins look good this time as he strikes out Matt Stairs. The A's tie the game on the Mitchell home run. They leave Voigt the go-ahead run at third base. We go to the bottom of the 8th, 4-4. Pinch hitters and a pinch runner in the top of the 8th, but after Mitchell homered to tie the game, the A's could not take the lead, so the A's outfield stays the same. Some changes around the infield. Bornegaard was at second, goes over to short. Tim Roberts comes into play at second. Jack Boyd takes over at first base for Giambi, and A.J. Hinch will play on now as McFarland was hit for by Stairs. The pitcher is still Mike Fetters, and he'll be facing Garrett Anderson, Matt Wahlbeck, and Norberto Paco Martin. Keep in mind, Art Howard has emptied his bench with the moves he made at the top of this inning. There are no available bench players.
Always worried about a possibility of an injury, but keep in mind the designated hitter could always come in, and if the catcher gets injured, Jack Boyd is at first and Kevin Mitchell could go to first, and Haynes would lose the DH, but Boyd would at least be able to be the emergency catcher if that were to happen.
Well, he was down there today in the bullpen catching Tom Candiotti. That one misses. Count is 2 balls and 1 strike. Anderson on base 2 out of 3 times today. Walked his first time up, bounced to second, and singled to right. All against Jimmy Haynes. Fetters keeps it low and away. 3 balls and 1 strike. We're in the bottom of the 8th inning. You don't want to lose Anderson and give Wahlbeck a chance to bunt. Taken down the line. Ricky's going for it. He will not get it. It will bounce into the crowd for a ground rule double. What a shot there by Garrett Anderson. That ball was really tagged down the line.
Well, you fall behind a hitter, it changes his whole outlook and what he wants to try to do. And Anderson, who goes so well opposite field, the A's have seen that throughout his career. And the pitch was up and tailing away from him, which is perfect for him to go to left field. And the ball was tailing too much away from Ricky Anderson, sinking. He thought he might have a chance, but did go into the seats.
So Garrett Anderson opens the 8th with a tremendously important double. The batter's Matt Wallback, who walked down the third base line, and Larry Boa whispered into his ear, and I think we all know what he whispered. And now we're going to see it. He bunts it foul. With Boyd charging in at first, Flowers charging at third. He rolls it foul.
Terry Collins obviously does not feel that with Mike Fetter's pitching, Wallback can pull the ball, but Fetters, with a lot of pitches going down, you figured he would be able to open up as he is and get on top of the ball to pull it the right side.
Yeah, one more in those, Mike. Yeah, they're getting on him, but he picked off Damon Mayshore to help get the A's off the hook in the bottom of the 7th. A huge play. 0-1 pitch. This one's down. Fetters goes to third. He's out. He did it again. Another huge defensive play by Fetters as he gets Garrett Anderson.
Might as well give him the Gold Glove for the year with those plays. Well, that is a time that you try to get the lead runner. Early part of the game, you don't want to open up a big inning, but let's give him the Hoover pickup of the game with his outstanding play. A bunt right back to him. He had to make the decision himself to look. The third had plenty of time to get the runner going to first if necessary. But Mike Myers, that left foot was down. Looked like he tried to block Anderson and maybe hurt the left foot, as he is at least thinking about it, but not much, because he got the lead runner.
Terry Collins is going to send a pinch hitter up. Longtime 4th outfielder Orlando Palmeiro will come in, and he'll bat for Paco Martin. Justin Bachman is also available to run if they maybe move Wallback into scoring position. Bachman, the Bay Area product, the fastest guy on the club. There's Bachman. Mike Fetters misses. Strike. Pardon me. Strike. 1 ball, 1 strike. They got the call from Drew Coble, and it's a big one. 1-1. Very important. You don't want to go 2-0. Count is 2-1. That third pitch is also crucial. A lot of pitchers theorize that the 1-1 pitch is more important than the first one. They always say get ahead with a strike, but Greg Maddux, for one, thinks that the 1-1 pitch really sets the tone for the entire at-bat. It's so important to go 1-2 as opposed to 2-1. And now it is 3-1.
Greg Maddux also says you get him 0-2, he hits about 0-30.
He can say whatever he likes.
That's right.
12-game winner at the All-Star break. Both he and Tom Glavine. Palmeiro choking up on the bat. Just wants to put it in play here. If it's a strike, which it is, he'll take it. Count goes full. See if Wallback gets going here. Palmeiro, the moment he puts the ball in play with that shortened approach. Wallback is going. And Palmeiro lifts it to right center. Ben Graves shades down. He's got it. 2 outs.
And that's exactly what you want Palmeiro to do. Hit the ball in the air. Choking up as much as he does in that short stroke, he's not going to hit it that far. He wants to hit the ball on the ground or on a line drive, but Fetters got him to pop the ball up.
Gary DiSarcina came through with a big 2-out hit in the 4th inning. He doubled the left center to bring in their 4th and final run that inning. The Angels got all of their 4 runs in the 4th.
Bachman's going in to pinch run. He's going in to play second. And Terry Collins again hoping for that extra base hit, which probably would have scored Matt Wallback anyway, but at least with Bachman, he figures that he'll easily be able to score an extra base hit. He might also try to steal second.
That's exactly what I was thinking. Bachman, an accomplished base stealer in the minor leagues. In fact, he led the California League last year with 68. He's the fastest guy on the team, and one day he could be a leadoff guy. Right now they're just letting Darren Erstad hold that spot down, but most observers feel that Erstad should be a hitter lower in the batting order where he could drive in even more runs. Bachman, born in Mountain View, went to Butterman High School. Just 23 years of age. He has been very impressive. Missed with that pitch.
Might go into the slide step so he can get rid of the ball quicker, get it to the plate, but he's not been able to throw the strike to a guy who likes to swing the bat, in DiSarcina.
Count is 2-0 to DiSarcina. He rips it foul way out in front. DiSarcina 1 for 2 today, Ray.
Not bad for the Angels to have a hot hitter like DiSarcina at the bottom of the batting order, the 9th place hitter, hitting over 300, and hitting very well in the month of June, which propelled the Angels into first place.
Big rip. Count is 2 balls and 2 strikes. Good pitching there by Fetters. After falling behind, he gets even. Now we'll see what Terry Collins does with Bachman. It's a good count to run on. Ball back in Edmonds.
Time right now to get the hitter too. If Bachman does run, sometimes you might see a pitch out on a 2-2, but Bachman's speed and no guarantee to throw him out, that automatically puts the runner in scoring position when you can go right after the hitter and try to get him out.
The Angels have lost 4 in a row and 6 of their last 8. Well, the A's have won their last 3. Bachman's going, and DiSarcina just a piece to stay alive. So Terry Collins does have Bachman on the move on the 2-2 pitch.
Biff Roberts went over to cover second, and sometimes in a play like that too, the manager will say, hold your position, because with 2 strikes, the hitter is forced to make contact if the ball is close to the strike zone, and by covering second opens up, in this case, the right side of the infield. Sinking fastball outside.
Fetters hoping Bachman flinches a little early and it'll try to pick off another. Well, he has just been superb defensively over this week. Bachman not going. DiSarcina to center. Ryan Christensen's got it, and he will jog out in and lead off the 9th inning. Mike Fetters. Rafael Bornagol's got it, and the Oakland A's get the last out, and they get the sweep of the Angels. The A's, who came here having lost 14 of the last 15 games against the Angels, including a 3-game sweep here in mid-May. They return here in early July and get a sweep of their own.
And the sweetness of this sweep is the fact that when the A's came into town, the newspaper saying, great. The A's are coming in for the weekend, a great way for the Angels to finish the weekend in first place and beat the Athletics. And also today, the A's overcame 2 errors in the game to win, something they have not done very much in the first half of the season, but a tremendous week and weekend.
And Kevin Mitchell has a big part in it. The game-tying home run in the 8th inning is first with the A's. Then the big walk in the 9th against Percival brings in the winner. The A's will break for 3 in the All-Star break, go back to work Thursday, and we'll be there to join them 12 noon on the air, 12:15 as the first pitch against the Texas Rangers. Tonight at 10 o'clock, Fox Sports News, a complete wrap of the day in sports. Stick with us now. Coming up next, it's Hooked on Golf with Mitch Jurasich and John Abendroth. For Ray Fosse, producer Jim Armentrout, and director Tommy Adza, this is Greg Papa. You've been watching the Oakland A's on Fox Sports Bay Area, your regional home of Fox Sports Net.